As you can all see looking around the room tonight and seeing us on the stage, this is a family affair. And we're so excited to share our traditions from this blessed month of Ramadan with you today.
Before we begin, I want to call out some of the things around you today. You'll see these beautiful Ramadan Mubarak cookies at your table, which were created by Needs and Wants here in Skokie.
And you will also see the hundreds of community members around you and lots of community elected officials and leaders who we are so proud to give shout outs to for that. And for that, I'll invite my sister, Bushra Amiwala, on stage to introduce these leaders.
The list of the elected leaders, ma'am. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace be upon you all today. Thank you so much for coming out today. I will have more formal remarks for later this evening, but I wanted to kick us off by announcing the who's who in the room, our local electeds and candidates. So can we give a big round of applause for that? Let's get hyped, yeah. So all of us in this room, of every race, faith, and background, are part of the American story. And tonight we want to share with you part of that story as well, the American Muslim story. The banners across the room, as you can see, are developed by the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition and showcase the history of Muslims that have been a part of the American story for over 400 years. Muslims came as enslaved Africans. They then immigrated for many reasons, and they helped build our nation. Today, look across the room. There are doctors, teachers, business owners, nonprofit leaders, service providers of every color, class, and background. And we are breaking bread together tonight. In this time of often divisive politics and hate rhetoric, we need to learn more about each other, because when we really know each other, we live, work, and play together. And that's when we have an Illinois and an America where everyone can build a life. You will also find on your tables palm cards that the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition provided. You'll see one-sheeters from our great state senator, Ron Villabalum, and you'll see some pamphlets and flyers from some of the other candidates in the room. You will also see these delicious cookies made by a local bakery called Needs and Wants. So now, if I can invite all of the elected officials and candidates to please rise. I will one by one name you off. Hopefully you're all on my list. If not, wave your hand, and it's a test for me. So can we give a big round of applause for our elected officials? All right. I'm going to go down my list, and feel free to wave. Pause until the end, just so we get to know one another. So we have Dawn Gelfold, Niles Township Trustee. We have Judge Sanjay Taylor for the 9th Judicial Sub-Circuit, Cook County. We of course have our Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton. We have Naima Abraham, our District 219 board member. We have Atur Sarhan, our Lincolnwood trustee. We have Pecky Tolson, Niles Township trustee. We have Denise Wayne Stonebeck, our 16th District State representative. We have Jean Ikazoy Halevi, Lincolnwood trustee. We obviously have our Congressman Jan Schakowsky. And we have Ray Siauer, President of the Board of Commissioners for Streamwood Park District. We have Jaisal Patel, the Mayor of Lincolnwood. We have Judge Tracy Porter, Circuit Court Judge of Cook County. And we have, finally to conclude, State Senator Ram Villavala. Megan Locke-Mathias, who is currently a candidate and serves on the local Board of Education in Chicago. I'm in Skokie. Perfect. And of course we have Lincolnwood trustee Muhammad Saleem. Oh, we have MWRD commissioners too, where
Josina.
Oh, we had MWRD Commissioner Josina Marina, who is now going to be the MWRD candidate. Casina Nonato, thank you. And Frank Avila. There we go. Thank you all. Thank you. Oh, and we have Grace Diaz Herrera, Lincolnwood Trustee. There's so many. Fantastic. Thank you all so much. I'll invite Amina and Muhammad back on stage now. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Bushra, for energizing the room as always, and thank you to all our local leaders and candidates for your willingness to serve.
And now, to formally commence the beginning of our program, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, who is no stranger to the Muslim community, Habib Qadri. I would like to call him Mr. Qadri. Habib Qadri is an educator, author, and a youth activist. He's been in education for over 20 years as a teacher, principal, and superintendent of MCC Academy. Everyone, please give it up for Habib Qadri.
Assalamu alaikum. So, greetings and peace. So, first and foremost, I get a phone call from Bushra. So when Bushra calls, you just got to pick up. Right? She's like, I got an event. Now, this is amazing because I got to meet Bushra like several years ago. She came to my office and said, look, I want to run. What should I do? What do you think? Here's the bids. Here's the connects we could get. And I was like, what are you going to do? Get a phone call a month and a half later, come to the Holiday Inn, how it all circles back to Holiday Inn. And she's like, I'm running. She has like this whole hall full, and she goes through. So when you're like, hey, and now when I'm trying to get a hold of her, I have to go through her publicist. Like, my name's Habib. I used to know her, right? But mashallah, we reward her for all her work. Now, Trustee Saleem's another connection because he was a parent at our school, so I was always in trouble with him. Right, but so this is how it works, right? I get a phone call from his daughter, I'm listening, to move in the shaker. And she's like, Mr. Qadri, my father is running. I'm like, oh, right? And so that's how it all begins. So if you want things to get done, you get girls. These ladies got power, all right? So just remember us, small people over here. Now this is the month of Ramadan, right? So the month of Ramadan, we are supposed to be grateful, right? We are supposed to also, this is the month where we fast so we can build some God consciousness. And when you build God consciousness, you realize the blessings that we have and we need to be grateful. So just like our food, our clothing, our family, and individuals like you and our community leaders who have made our lives easier to practice our faith and be a part of the fabric of America. So we have individuals, like when there's any situation that happens, Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. If it's immigration, she is there. If there's a budget, you have no problem getting it built or expansion, she will be there. Social justice, she is there. Whenever there's trouble, Congresswoman Jan's on the trouble. Right? On the double, right? So she's right there. So then you have individuals like, Senator Ron, who we slowly, yesterday we were at the mayor's Lightfoot dinner, and I see him so much that sometimes like, are we relatives? Because we're almost every Muslim event. Right, so this is awesome because he puts his time in effort. He's got 2 little ones. So we really want to thank you for taking your time. Now, Lieutenant Julian, I've never got to meet you, but I met Jesse Rui, South Illinois Coalition Non-Public Schools. I chair that, so thank you so much for letting us, our private schools, get in our schools up and running because we knew that with private schools, if you're not getting in person, we're not getting our tuition. So thank you so much, and your whole team for helping us out with that. And there's all this local. We have the Lincolnwood, Trustee and the Mayor, Ramadan Is. So all of you and all you individuals have played a big part in our Muslim communities. We want to thank all of you. And we'd like to now start off with the recitation of the Holy Quran. And from then on, the program will begin. And Ms. Bush had asked me. Again, I'm not a scholar, religious scholar, but just this individual who's trying to practice the faith. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. The most merciful, the most compassionate. Maliki Yawmiddin. The master of the day of judgment. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. You alone we worship, you alone we seek help. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Guide us along the straight path. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Guide us along the straight path, the path of those who have your favor, and not the path of those who have led astray, who have earned your wrath. So thank you, God bless you, and thank you all for coming, and we ask that God protect us, our communities, our families, and this nation. Take care.
Alumni of MCC Academy, I'm so proud of all your advocacy for the Muslim community. As someone who used to be my principal back in 2014, it is an honor to share a stage with you today. Thank you for talking about the importance of gathering, and thank you for your dua. It means a lot for all of us.
Now, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Ahmed Mustafa. Today, Ahmed Mustafa serves as one of the lead policy advisors for Google's misinformation policy. For his pro bono work, Ahmed represents sexual assault victims in their Title IX cases in collaboration with equal rights advocates. He is here today on his behalf of his podcast, Trial by Podcast. Please help me welcome on stage Mr. Ahmed Mustafa.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you to the organizers for helping bring us together. And a special thanks to Bushra for her leadership and inspiration in the community. I'm happy to be back in Chicago and grateful that this event is in late April and not December. Many Muslims will tell you that Ramadan is their favorite time of the year. In fact, as Ramadan approaches its end, many Muslims will commonly express sadness that the month is almost over. So why is it that during a month of such hardship, where Muslims refrain from their most basic physical needs, that Muslims look so fondly on Ramadan? Well, let's first start with the basics. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar. This calendar has 12 months, but because this calendar is also 12 months like the Gregorian calendar, which we all follow, but because it follows the rotation of the moon around the earth, it's about 11 days shorter than the regular calendar we follow. And this is why Ramadan seasonally changes over time. Ramadan is short in the years where it's in the winter, but it's much longer in the years where it's in the summer. So again, I'm very thankful that it's April and not July. During Ramadan, Muslims are expected to refrain from food and drink from sunrise until sunset. And yes, even water. This is fasting at its most basic level. The Quran explains fasting by stating, "O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may develop God's consciousness." The fasting serves as a reminder to be more pure in all of our actions, and to refrain, and not just to refrain from things, but it compels us to act with pure intentions. Muslims are expected to seek forgiveness and mercy, but also to practice mercy and forgiveness during the month of Ramadan. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, tells Muslims, "Be merciful to others, and you will receive mercy. Forgive others, and God will forgive you." Ramadan is about forgiveness. Ramadan is also a month of giving. Your fasting will not count unless you've given the obligatory charity. On charity and forgiveness, the Prophet, peace be upon him, says, "Charity does not decrease wealth. No one forgives another, but that Allah increases their honor, and no one humbles himself, but for the sake of God, but that God raises their status." In Islam, you can't have fasting and charity without community. And community is an essential part of Ramadan. I really want to thank the organizers here for bringing us together. For many people, I believe this will be the first time in over 2 years where we come together for a big iftar. And I can personally attest as to how awkward sometimes I've been in meetings. And I say sometimes statements like, did I really just tell that person that? But I'm happy and thankful that we can congregate together. It's important to note that the foundation of Islam is based on 5 pillars. And each of these pillars involves bringing the community together. Charity, fasting, and prayer are all essential pieces of Ramadan and are all among the 5 pillars. Community is so emphasized in our religion that the Quran states, "O humankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made you among peoples and tribes so that you may all know each other." Diversity is important in Islam. And it's important for Muslims and non-Muslims to recognize that Muslims are not a monolith. Just like Chicagoans, Muslims are incredibly diverse and eat different cuisines and have different cultural rituals during the month of Ramadan. Despite these differences, the beauty of Ramadan more than any time of year is that it encourages Muslims to come together as a community. At the end of Ramadan, we come out of the month spiritually refreshed. We've sought forgiveness and we've forgiven others. We've donated a lot to the needy, but we feel a sense of increased wealth. We feel like we can accomplish anything for the sake of good. If for 30 days, humans can refrain from food and water, the most basic human needs to survive, then with discipline, proactivity, and diligence, we can accomplish anything. During Ramadan, we build community and we've come together as Muslims and non-Muslims to celebrate one another for our differences and similarities. I hope we can carry on this feeling of coming together to bring the best version of ourselves as we continue to serve our communities. Thank you.
18, one of the first campaigns I ever did, and I can definitely say he cares about his constituents. You know, my friends and I were promised a pizza party if he won, and I'm still holding my dad accountable because he hasn't gotten there yet.
Ron Villabalm was sworn in as state senator of the 8th district in his first term. In just his first term as state senate, Ram has helped lead more than 40 pieces of legislation that are now law. He is proud to have helped lead the movement to lower taxes on the middle class, reduce gun violence, and provide a quality education to children regardless of what zip code they reside in. Fun fact, before the senator comes up, Ron was the first candidate ever to knock on our door in 2018. And I remember I was the one who answered the door. He asked me to personally sign his petition. And I signed it that time, and I'm gonna sign it again this time. So thank you so much, and please help me welcome on stage State Senator Ron Villabalm.
I think you were wearing a sweatshirt, if I remember correctly. Good evening, everyone. Happy Ramadan to everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. Didn't realize how many people were here. I was just walking to the front here. I am glad that she clarified that her father owes her the pizza party. If it was I that owed it, it would have happened a long time ago. So,
I owe her forever in my life.
I have 2 little ones, so I can relate. It's just an honor for me to be here with everyone. Good to see our Congresswoman. It's always great to see her. It's especially great to see her when I speak before her instead of after her. So I'm thankful for that. Lieutenant Governor, it's great to see you. And I must say, as you know, you've been in our district. As was mentioned earlier, and as you look across this room, I am so damn proud, excuse my language, of the diversity of our district, of the 8th State Senate District. And if you look at who we have in this room, who's come together to be here and celebrate and gather, it just shows you the diversity and the strength of that diversity. So welcome to the 8th Senate District, and you're always welcome here. I'll keep my remarks short because I know we're trying to get back on schedule. I just wanted to say that when I gather at these events, I look around the room and I see people that have been incredibly involved, trusted leaders in our community. And you all are so incredibly important to the work that I do at the state level. I represent 217,000 people every day in Springfield and in the district. I could not do that work. I could not try to make that positive impact on their lives without your involvement. Because ultimately, as I've stood outside the MCC on Elston and the MEC in Morton Grove, 1,200, 1,500 people come through. It's the trusted leaders like a Bushra Amiwal, like a Mohammed Saleem, that people go to and rely on for information, language access, and so much more. And I say that because you have a list of bills that we passed and that the governor has signed on your table that Bushra asked me to put together, and it was incredibly important. We passed in this budget $20 million to ensure that our religious institutions, our places of worship, have the security they need for people to be safe while they pray. That's a big momentum and a big momentous occasion, because while we're gathering here today after 2 years, more than 2 years ago, we remember the tragedies that we had to gather and have a candlelight vigil for to recognize for those that we lost. And so those are the types of policies that we've been able to work on in Springfield to make everyone's life better. But it only works if people are aware of these policies, of this legislation that's now law. And that's where we rely on everybody in this room. And so I just want to thank you all for your trusted leadership. My door is always open. Sometimes people tell me it's too open, everybody comes through, but I'm okay with that because that's what's going to make us all better. So thanks so much, and please give another round of applause to Bushra and Mohammed for putting this together.
Once again, I'm so proud to call you my state senator, Ram. You're such a cool, humble, and honest for our community. So thank you again for your remarks.
The next speaker I'd like to invite is a vibrant leader in our community who has not only supported many Muslim candidates up and down the ballot, including my good friend Bushra over here, Congressman Jan Schakowsky, is serving for 12 congressional terms. Proudly representing the 9th Congressional District of Illinois, she is part of the House Democratic leadership, serving as Senior Chief Deputy Whip. She is a member of the House Budget and the House Energy and Commerce Committee, where she chairs the Consumer Protection and Commerce Subcommittee. Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky.
Ramadan Mubarak, everyone. Happy to be here. I am so grateful for the invitation to be here with all of you tonight. I really want to thank Bushra Amiwala, who I was so proud of her. I first met her when she was delivering food to people who really needed, who were in hunger, and she told me she wanted to run, and I said, "You run, I'm with you, and I will always be with you." So thank you. And I want to say to Mohammed Saleem, who is the Lincolnwood Trustee, I'm so happy to be with you as well. Thank you for this wonderful event. So I wanted to tell you that it has always been my policy and my heart to stand with all the diverse communities within our district. And tonight I just want to mention a couple, just two in terms of representing the Muslim community. It really started early in my career. Right after 9/11, 2001, I was a new member of Congress, and you remember that terrible day. Some people talk about that day. It was a time when all of America came together. But that wasn't entirely true. what we saw was also some evidence of prejudice against Muslim people or anybody, quite frankly, who might have worn a turban or might have been of a certain color. And so I decided to have a unity march down Devon Avenue and invited people of different religions. And I remember the fear in the community. There were many women who were on a job who were afraid of being attacked. A cab driver was attacked in that terrible aftermath of 9/11. And also just invite people to walk down Devon Avenue carrying American flags to talk about how we are one, and we're going to stand in solidarity. And then to update you to right now, the biggest piece of legislation that I'm working on right now is, it's called HR 5665, the Combating International Islamophobia Act. And I had the pleasure of introducing that with my congressional colleague, Representative Ilhan Omar, and together we introduced legislation. And I'm so happy to say that it did pass the House of Representatives. We were able to do that last December, and we're still working on, and we could use your help, to get this to pass the Senate. And what the legislation would do would be to create a special envoy for monitoring and combating Islamophobia within the federal government. And we've seen, it is international, because we have seen this all over the world. And I was so glad to be part of that. And some people say, well, why do you want to focus on Islamophobia? I said, you know what? We have a special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism. And doesn't it make sense that we do the same now for Islamophobia? And so we have seen all over the world, the Uyghurs in China, the Rohingya. We have a large Rohingya community, Muslims, in the Chicago area, the largest gathered in my district on Devon Avenue. In New Zealand, in Sri Lanka, in Canada, and yes, here in the United States of America, we need to combat Islamophobia. And that's why that Ilhan Omar and I are doing that together. And so all of us need to work together to make sure that whatever discrimination, wherever peoples are targeted because of their faith and any other characteristic, that we need to work together. We're seeing the kind of horror right now in Ukraine, where people are being targeted and slaughtered every day. And together, we need to fight for peace, for equality. Thank you so very much.
When we first moved to Skokie, we'd go to the 4th of July parade, and we'd always look forward to the Jan fans. One, because it'd be super hot, and two, because amazing marketing strategy. And now I'm proud to call myself a Jan fan. Thank you so much for your advocacy and leadership for our community.
I'm super thrilled to announce our next speaker. Many of you guys may have known him as Lincolnwood Trustee Muhammad Saleem, but to me, he's my dad. Cool? For short, I just want to say my dad has always been passionate about his family, his community, his work, and I'm so thankful and so proud that he's here standing up in front of you guys today to talk. Come on now.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I really don't know how I got squeezed between speakers here. I'm kind of the newest kid on the block here, youngest kid on the block. Not much experience in this arena as far as speaking publicly or in politics, but I'll do what I can here. I have a written script, so I'll go by that script here. 1 second. Well, I'm so glad after so long, after 3 years, we're able to gather here and open fast in this manner. This was unimaginable a couple of years ago, and I wasn't sure that this will happen this year also, but we are here, and alhamdulillah, it's good that we are able to do this here. As speakers before me spoke about Ramadan, you know, it's a month of discipline, it's a month of giving, it's a month of sharing, it's a month of caring, it's a month of tolerance, you know, all those good things. We do this every year, once every month, so we can train ourselves to be this person, what we are this month, for the rest of the year, for the rest of our lives. So this is a good training for us, and I encourage all of you guys to share, to give, to do as much as you can, not only in this month, for the rest of the year and the rest of your lives. So that's all I can say. I'm truly humbled with all the people who are present here, especially the elected officials and the community members. You know, when we started this, we didn't expect that we are going to have this big of a crowd, and it's amazing what we have here right now. Thank you for all the elected officials here. Thank you for all the people who are running for office. It is, you know, when I started running, I didn't realize how big of a burden this is. You know, you have no idea what I went through emotionally, and it's a torture sometimes. You know, I am forever grateful to you guys who do this as year after year. This is my first year. I'm learning. You know, I think I'm getting better at it, and you know, and this month has taught me to tolerate a little bit more. So I'm on that path of tolerance in politics now. You know. With that, you know, I just want to say, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all our fasting, all our ibadah in this month, and basically make us better going forward. You know, it's close to Iftaar time. We have a couple of more speakers, so with that, I'm just going to end it here. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming.
Having Iftaar with us. Mom?
And now it is my honor to invite our next speaker, Bushra Amiwala. She is a media icon, activist, dynamic speaker, and the youngest Muslim elected official in the United States, as she serves on the Board of Education of Skokie School District 73.5. Bushra has been on the subject of 3 original documentaries, one on Amazon, one on PBS, and one coming on Hulu as well. So you best believe I racked up some secondhand fame. Now, please welcome my sister, Bushra Amiwala.
All right, I knew I'd be back. So I'll do a quick time check. It is 7:37. Iftar to break the fast is at 7:41 p.m. tonight. I'll keep my remarks short for 2 minutes, introduce the Lieutenant Governor, and while she is speaking, feel free to grab a date and open your fast as well. So we're gonna do it like that. I like to tell stories. However, based on the time today, I'm going to keep my stories brief, but what I will share is I began fasting at the age of 9 when I actually moved to Skokie. And in 3rd grade, I remember we had to sit in the library, not in the cafeteria, as we'd be refraining from eating and drinking. And I remember feeling alone. It's a really lonely feeling. And I look here today, fast forward 12 years later, and standing in a room with my community that stands by me to break bread and to break my fast in this capacity, and I couldn't have wished for anything else. So thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate it. I'm so used to sometimes being the only Muslim in the room, but not tonight. And look around, I'm so proud of that, and I'm so proud of all of the people that have come together to make this event a success. I'm so honored to have collaborated with Trustee Saleem. Shout out to my parents as well who are sitting over here. Thank you for them and all they've done for me. And with that, We won't have our two lovely MCs back. Round of applause for them too. They've been doing so good, keeping us on track. They don't get to commentate on my brief remarks, that's okay. I get to introduce our next speaker and guest of honor for tonight, our Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton. So Juliana Stratton serves as the Illinois' 48th Lieutenant Governor and is the first Black woman to ever hold this position. In this role, she leads the Justice, Equity, and Opportunity Initiative and chairs the Illinois Council on Women and Girls, as well as several other programs. Lieutenant Governor Stratton's entire career has focused on bringing people together, building consensus, and solving problems. She's a restorative justice practitioner and a trained peace circle keeper. She was born and raised on the south side of Chicago and is a proud graduate of the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign and DePaul University Law. And her husband, Brian, live in the Bronzeville community and have 4 daughters. Please give it up for Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
Assalamu alaikum. I greet you in peace. I'd like to begin by thanking our host, Bushra Amawala and Muhammad Saleem for inviting me to participate in tonight's Iftaar. Bushra is no stranger to shattering glass ceilings, a member of the Skokie School Board for District 73 and a half. She is the first Muslim American elected to the Board of Education in her district, and at the time of her election, Bushra was the youngest Muslim elected official serving in the entire United States of America. I'm so proud of you as my sister in public service. And Trustee Saleem, before you go too far, is an accomplished structural engineer and is a proud Illinois small business owner. And his commitment to service, whether as a village trustee, a valued community member, or businessman, is what makes our state so great. And I just want to thank you both for your leadership and commitment to making Illinois the best state to live, work, and raise a family. Thank you. It is truly an honor to join you as we celebrate the holy month of Ramadan and recognize the important role that Muslim Americans have played in helping us to create a more just and equitable Illinois. It's also great to be here with such incredible leaders like Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, State Senator Ram Villalbaum, State Representative Denise Wayne Stonebeck, and my friend and president of the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition, Dilara Saleem. Thank you so much. As the holiest month of the Islamic calendar, Ramadan is an opportunity for Muslims to devote themselves to their faith and get closer to Allah through fasting, charity, studying the Quran, and prayer. Ramadan is also a time for doing good deeds for those in need. As you all know, as we continue to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, the practice of helping those less fortunate has never been more important. If the last few years have taught us anything, it's to be grateful for what we have. And as we celebrate together tonight, we are reminded of the power of community and the blessings it provides. For this evening's Iftaar, we break the day's fast and share in our gratitude for the progress that we have made in recent years, lifting up the Muslim American community in Illinois. A community of such rich diversity that it not only exists here in Illinois, but also throughout the nation and the world. This past December, Governor Pritzker was proud to issue a proclamation that declared January 2022 and every January moving forward as Muslim American Heritage Month. And this serves as a symbol to all Illinoisans, proudly stating that the livelihoods and contributions of Muslim American communities to our state remain vital to our shared prosperity. And just last summer, I was grateful to support the passage of Senate Bill 564, a first of its kind piece of legislation that now requires history teachers in Illinois' public schools to teach students about the contributions of Americans from different faiths, including Islam. This means that students will learn about famous Illinoisans like Fazlur Khan, a Bangladeshi-born American referred to as the Einstein of structural engineering. Khan's revolutionary vision for skyscrapers led to the construction of the famous Willis Tower, the John Hancock Center, and countless other buildings that keep us looking up in awe and inspiration. Senate Bill 564 also established January 17th as Muhammad Ali Day, allowing our state to celebrate the life and cultural significance of one of America's most famous practicing Muslims. Muhammad Ali spoke words that reverberate in my mind as we continue to push for a more just, equitable state, nation, and world. He said these words, "Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power that they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact. It's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Impossible is potential. Impossible is temporary. Impossible is nothing." My hope and prayer is that moving forward, tonight's gathering serves as a powerful reminder to us all that the power to shape Illinois into the most welcoming state in the nation lives in each and every person that's here tonight. And we do that by lifting up the voices and the wisdom that is found right here in this room. And we must and we can do this because, as Muhammad Ali said, impossible is nothing. I want each and every one of you to know that there will never be a day that JB and I don't fight for what's right for all Illinoisans. And there will never be a day that JB and I don't fight for each and every one of you. Together, we will make sure that Illinois remains a place where all are welcome and all have the resources that they need to thrive. A place where everyone has access to living wages, good paying jobs, health care, a quality education, and a place that recognizes that our democracy is worth protecting. Together, we're going to continue the work that we started just over 3 years ago, and we're going to keep putting working families first. I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to join me tonight. JB and I are so proud to have committed Illinoisans like all of you on our side every step of the way. And as I close, I pray that you will continue to be strengthened and enlightened during your fast, and that you end your fast in a way that not only leaves you better, but leaves your family and your community better. Because as we all humbly bring our gifts and talents and our hearts to uplift our families and communities, it will only make Illinois a better place for all of us to live, not just now, but for generations to come. Ramadan Mubarak, and thank you.
All right, I don't want to stay. Therefore, the buffet is in the back and is open. A couple of housekeeping. We will have prayer in the back room right there, Maghrib Salah, which will probably be led by my brother Muhammad. So thank you for that. And you will also, in the interim while everyone gets up for food, invite all of the speakers back on stage for a group photo. So Trustee Muhammad Saleem, Jan Schakowsky, Ramadan Is, and Mustafa, Mr. Gadri, all of you come join us. And that's a wrap. Thank you all for being here today. Meet one another. You are all neighbors. Hopefully you see someone you've never met